Lecturing on topics was one of the key ways I would transmit knowledge to my students. As technology has become more available, the topics I was lecturing on were now readily available on Google, YouTube, etc. I began to ask myself, how was I preparing my students for the real world? How was I preparing my students for a world full of careers that have not been invented yet? How was I preparing my students for a world where information was ubiquitous and cheap, but innovation was scarce and in high demand? The whole group rotation model worked for me as the first step transitioning from a more traditional lecture or whole group instruction to a rotation model, where the learning could be more personalized to meet the needs of my students and better prepare them for the future. The flow of the whole group rotation model is similar to an offline class because students rotate through activities as a group just like they do in a traditional classroom, only this time many of those activities are online. But through the technology, my students were able to control the pace or sequence of their learning and often have choice of a learning path. In this link cycle, you will build a whole group rotation lesson with digital activities organized in a HyperDoc. A HyperDoc is a shared document which allows students to access links and resources easily. Google Docs or Microsoft 365 are great tools for creating a HyperDoc. You may choose to use a document or a slide presentation as your HyperDoc. Next, you'll plan your lesson using the link template for whole group rotation, creating the flow of activities between whole group offline activities and whole group online activities. Online activities may include digital practice, online discussion, video instruction, listening, or creativity tasks, while offline activities could include whole group instruction, individual, or group work. Keep in mind that the order of online and offline does not matter. As you plan, keep the PAC hallmark of effective practice in mind. Once you have decided on the activities, you will add the online activities to the HyperDoc, giving students instructions and linking to the resources needed to complete the online activities. When every student is working on a device during the online learning activities, it is an ideal time for teachers to work individually with students or pull small groups for small group instruction. As part of your planning, you will identify which students or groups of students you will work with during the online rotation. If you plan a conference with students one-on-one during the online rotation, you may consider using a student conference report template in the resources of this cycle. As a recap, in this cycle you will create a HyperDoc, plan a whole group rotation lesson, and complete the reflection after trying the lesson in your class. Have fun exploring the potential of whole group rotation.